The Ashikaga Shogunate, also known as the Muromachi Shogunate, was a dynasty originating from one of the plethora of Japanese daimyos, which governed Japan from 1338 to 1573, the year in which Oda Nobunaga deposed Ashikaga Yoshiaki. The heads of government were the shoguns. Each was a member of the Ashikaga clan. This period is also known as the Muromachi period. It gets its name from the Muromachi district in Kyoto. The third shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, established his residence on Muromachi Street. This residence, constructed in 1379, is nicknamed the Flower Palace because of the abundance of flowers in its landscaping. During the preceding Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, the Hojo clan enjoyed absolute power in the governing of Japan. This monopoly of power, as well as the lack of a reward of lands after the feat of the Mongol invasions, led to simmering resentment among Hojo vassals. Finally, in 1333, Emperor Go-Daigo ordered local governing vassals to oppose Hojo rule in favor of imperial restoration in the Kinmyu Restoration. To counter this revolt, the Kamakura Shogunate ordered Ashikaga Takaaji to quash the uprising. For reasons that are unclear, possibly because the Ashikaga was the de facto leader of the powerless Minamoto clan, while the Hojo clan were from the Taira clan the Minamoto had previously defeated. Ashikaga turned against Kamakura and fought on behalf of the imperial court. After the successful overthrow of the Kamakura regime in 1336, Ashikaga Takaaji set up his own military government in Kyoto. After Ashikaga Takauji established himself as the shogun, a dispute arose with Emperor Go-Daigo on the subject of how to govern the country. That dispute led Takauji to cause Prince Yudihito, the second son of Emperor Go-Fushimi, to be installed as Emperor Komyo. Go-Daigo fled, and Japan was divided between the northern imperial court in favor of Komyo and the southern imperial court in favor of Go-Daigo. This period of northern and southern courts continued for 56 years. Until 1392, when the South Court gave up during the reign of Ashikaga Yoshimitsu. The Ashikaga Shogunate is the weakest of the three Japanese military governments. Unlike its predecessor, the Kamakura Shogunate, or its successor, the Tokugawa Shogunate, Ashikaga Takauji established his government. He had little personal territories with which to support his rule. The Ashikaga Shogunate was thus heavily reliant on the prestige and personal authority of its shoguns. The centralized master-vassal relationship used in the Kamakura system was replaced with a highly decentralized daimyos, or local lord system, and because of the lack of direct territories, the military power of the shoguns depended heavily on the loyalty of the daimyos. On the other hand, the imperial court was no longer a credible threat to military rule. The failure of the Kinmyu Restoration had rendered the court weakened and subservient, a situation Ashikaga Takauji reinforced by establishing within close proximity of the emperor at Kyoto. The authority of the local daimyos greatly expanded from its Kamakura times. In addition to military and policing responsibilities, the shogunate appointed shugos now absorbed the justice, economical, and taxation powers of the local imperial governors, while the government holdings in each province were rapidly absorbed into the personal holdings of the daimyos or their vassals. The loss of both political clout and economic base deprived the imperial court of much of its power, which were then assumed by the Ashikaga shoguns. This situation reached its peak under the rule of the third shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu. After Yoshimitsu, however, the structural weaknesses of the Ashikaga shogunate were exposed by numerous successive troubles and early deaths. This came dramatically more acute after the Onin War, after which the shogunate itself became reduced to little more than a local political force in Kyoto. The Ashikaga shogunate's foreign relation policy choices were played out in evolving contacts with Joseon on the Korean peninsula and with Imperial China. After the daimyos increasingly feuded among themselves in pursuit of power in the Onin War, that loyalty grew increasingly strained until it erupted into open warfare in the late Muromachi period, also known as the Sengoku period. When the shogun Ashikaga Yoshiteru was assassinated in 1565, an ambitious daimyo, Oda Nobunaga, seized the opportunity and installed Yoshiteru's brother, Yoshiaki, as the 15th Ashikaga Shogun. However, Ashikage was only a puppet of Nobunaga. The Ashikaga Shogunate was finally destroyed in 1573 when Nobunaga drove Ashikage Yoshiaki out of Kyoto. Initially, Ashikage fled to Shikoku. Afterwards, he sought and received protection from the Mori clan in western Japan. Later, Toritomi Hideyoshi requested that Yoshiaki accept him as an adopted son, and the 16th Ashikage Shogun Yoshiaki refused. The Ashikaga family survived the 16th century, and a branch of it became the daimyo family Kitasuragawa domain. The shogunal residence, also known as the Flower Palace, was in Kyoto on the block now bounded by Karasuma Street to the east, Imadigawa Street on the south, Miramanchi Street to the west, and the Kamadachiruri Street to the north. The location is commemorated by a stone marker at the southwest corner, and the Kanbaikan of Doshisha University contains relics and excavations of the area.